Okay, so it's Friday afternoon and you've decided to work from home today because yesterday, well, you realized that you simply didn't have the capacity for one more interruption. One more. Do you have 5 minutes? Teams message, one more person needing a decision from you before they could move forward. Not because you don't care about your team and not because you're disengaged from your work, but because your mind's been available to people all week. Available for decisions, available for problem solving, available for anticipating issues before they escalate, available for conversations nobody else has even realized need to happen yet. And by Friday afternoon, quite frankly, you're worn out. Not that kind of tired that disappears with an early night or a quiet weekend, but the kind where even small decisions start to feel hard. Someone asks you a simple question and internally you can feel yourself bracing before your mouth answers professionally anyway. There's technically space between meetings in your calendar, but your mind never actually leaves the previous conversation. You close your laptop later that evening and somehow you're still mentally refining Monday's presentation while unloading the dishwasher, replaying a conversation from earlier in the day while brushing your teeth, remembering the email you forgot to send the second your head hits the pillow, and waking up at 3 a.m. with the solution to a problem that your brain apparently decided needed solving immediately. And here's what I keep hearing from my clients. Most high-achieving women assume that this is simply what leadership feels like. That ongoing mental activity becomes interpreted as professionalism, responsibility, competence, part of being the person that people rely on. But there's actually something much deeper happening underneath this pattern because your body might have left work, but your mind never received the signal that the workday was over. What's happening underneath this is usually much deeper than simply having a lot on. Because when you spend years being rewarded for thinking ahead, for anticipating problems early, for staying mentally agile and catching risks before they escalate, your brain starts associating that level of ongoing mental preparation with being effective at what you do, with being dependable, with being the person that people trust. And over time, that way of operating can become so normal that you stop noticing how constantly mentally engaged you actually are. Your body gets itself home at the end of the day. It drives the car, it makes dinner, it folds the washing, it sits on the couch. But your mind's still back in the meeting from 3 hours ago, refining the response that you wish you'd phrased differently. Still thinking about the conversation that you need to have next week. Still mentally scanning ahead to make sure nothing important gets missed before Monday morning arrives. And because this way of operating has probably contributed to your success for a very long time, it can simply feel like part of being excellent at what you do. Because the woman who thinks ahead is trusted. The woman who catches things early is respected. The woman who mentally prepares for multiple outcomes is often seen as highly capable. So your brain keeps doing exactly what it's learned has worked. But eventually, the nervous system can become so accustomed to staying mentally available that it stops fully recognizing when the workday is actually over. The mind stays lightly connected to what's next almost all the time, quietly running background processing, even during moments that are supposed to feel restorative. And this is why so many women end up exhausted in ways that are difficult to explain because the fatigue's not always coming from the amount of work itself. It's coming from the fact that internally, part of your mind never fully stands down. Leadership stops being something that you do during working hours and it starts becoming something your nervous system carries continuously in the background. And this is often the point where women start assuming that the exhaustion's simply the price of leadership. That this is what happens when you operate at a high level for long enough. That the mental load comes with the role. That feeling permanently on is just what ambitious, capable women experience once they reach a certain level of responsibility. But you know what? I don't actually think that's the full story. Because there's a difference between working in a demanding role and carrying leadership internally every waking hour of the day. Many women become so accustomed to staying mentally prepared that they stop recognizing what it feels like to fully put responsibility down, even temporarily, long enough for your nervous system to actually recover. Now, you see it in the really ordinary moments, right? Sitting down on a Sunday afternoon with absolutely nothing urgent happening, and suddenly feeling your mind starts searching for what needs attention next. Or going on holiday and realizing it takes several days before your thoughts stop moving at work speed because your brain's still processing everything that it never had space to fully finish while you were busy leading. Finally, having silence around you and noticing how quickly your attention starts mentally moving towards what comes next. And because this pattern exists underneath high competence, it can stay hidden for a very long time. From the outside, your career still works. You're still highly functional. You're still respected. You're still delivering, which means people around you may never fully realize how much ongoing mental energy is being consumed behind the scenes just to maintain that level of internal readiness all the time. But eventually your body notices. Sleep stops fully resetting you. Weekends stop feeling restorative. You technically rest, but you never fully arrive in the rest because part of your mind is already lightly connected to Monday before Friday's even finished. And over time, that creates a very quiet kind of depletion because your nervous system very rarely experiences the feeling of true completion. Internally, part of you is still preparing for what comes next before the current moment has even fully finished. You can feel the impact of this pattern most clearly in the moments where your thinking starts to lose spaciousness. A small interruption suddenly feels disproportionately draining. Someone asks you a relatively simple question late in the day, and internally you can feel how little cognitive capacity is actually left. You sit down to focus on something strategic and you realize that your attention keeps pulling towards loose ends, unfinished decisions, conversations that your brain still considers to be mentally open. And here's what the neuroscience actually shows. The brain does not perform optimally under continuous anticipatory processing. When the nervous system spends too long scanning, predicting, preparing, and mentally managing future outcomes, cognitive resources gradually become redirected towards maintaining readiness rather than restoration, which means that your mind never fully resets. Part of your attention remains subtly allocated towards what might require action next, even during periods that are supposed to feel restorative. Over time, this creates cognitive saturation because the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for strategic thinking, discernment, emotional regulation, and complex decision making, well, it functions best when the nervous system can move rhythmically between activation and recovery. And many high achieving women have spent years being rewarded for remaining mentally available, for remaining highly prepared and able to anticipate problems before they fully emerge. And eventually that ongoing mental readiness can start reducing the very thing it was originally trying to protect. Not competence, not intelligence, clarity. Because mentally carrying 10 future scenarios at once is not the same thing as strategic precision. In many cases, it actually reduces access to the spaciousness that's required for the high quality thinking. Your nervous system becomes so accustomed to preparation that your brain struggles to distinguish between genuine strategic leadership and continuous subconscious anticipation. And that's why so many women eventually discover that they lead more effectively once their brilliance is no longer dependent on carrying tomorrow before today's even finished. The women I see leading most powerfully are really the women carrying the highest levels of internal mental noise. They're usually the women whose nervous systems no longer equate constant mental preparation with effective leadership. The woman who can think strategically without mentally living 3 steps ahead of themselves all of the time. The woman who can fully arrive in a conversation because her mind's no longer continuously scanning for what might need attention next. Imagine how it feels to be in that conversation. And that changes leadership in ways that most people don't fully realize until they experience it for themselves, right? Decision making becomes cleaner because the brain's no longer treating every unfinished detail as equally urgent. Presence becomes easier because part of your mind's no longer permanently allocated towards anticipation. Strategic thinking deepens because your nervous system finally has enough spaciousness to distinguish between genuine priorities and continuous subconscious preparation. And it's interesting because it's not because these women become less ambitious or less capable, but it's because their brilliance no longer depends on remaining mentally activated all the time. Because once you start recognizing these patterns, you also start realizing how many conversations about leadership have completely ignored the biology underneath high performance. And this is why I've created a dedicated Project Joyful LinkedIn page, a space where I'm going to be continuing many of the deeper conversations that are emerging from these episodes, talking around the neuroscience, the subconscious conditioning, the cognitive load, and what actually happens when highly capable women spend years carrying leadership internally without ever fully stepping out of anticipation mode. Because these patterns deserve far more than surface level conversations. So if this episode resonated, send me the word precision. Very often the women functioning at the highest professional level are the women who've spent the longest carrying leadership internally without ever fully realizing how much energy it was consuming behind the scenes. So you get to experience leadership differently now, in a way where your brilliance no longer depends on your nervous system remaining mentally activated all the time. I'm sending you lots of love. Bye for now.